signal now for when I'm needed. But when that light hits the sky, it's not just a call. It's a warning to them.
Yes, sir. Welcome to the Gotham Chronicles Beyond the Bat Signal. I am your host, Domenic Iannicca. Join me as we dive into the depths of Batman's lore, dissecting the Rogues Gallery and uncovering the stories of our iconic vigilante known as the Dark Knight. Now, we got a doozy today. I originally had planned that we were going to do Icons on Earth and wrap that up, but that will be the next episode. This one is going to focus on something a little different. Now, before we begin today's episode, first and foremost, I want to thank each and every one of you for tuning in, listening. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to email me at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com. And you can also follow Beyond the Bat Signal on X/Twitter at BeyondBatSignal. Or, if you do, you can also subscribe, like, and rate and comment on either Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, iHeartRadio, as it helps spread the word. And by all means, you have no idea how far that goes. And yeah, that's about it. Now, what are we getting into today? It looks like there is a brand new Arkham game that is coming out. I think everyone was kind of caught off guard as to what? There's a new Arkham game, and then it's getting released. Definitely not on PlayStation or Xbox, or even Nintendo for that matter. I believe it's called MetaQuest, which is news to me. Never heard of this system in my life up until when this trailer was released. And it's going to be a VR game. Now, at first, I was like a little bummed because I'm like, oh God, another VR game. And one, I never played any VR. It's not my thing. So, and then I'm looking at fan reactions, and it's a little bit, I would say mostly negative. But I'm kind of optimistic, and I'll share my thoughts as to why. So, if you haven't already, go into YouTube. I'm going to do a quick watch live as I am, and I guess I'll kind of commentate based on, what's going on right in front of the trailer. So, and you can probably watch along if you'd like. So I'll do that in 3, 2, 1. So, may contain violence, and we start off, which looks like a huge advertisement of MetaQuest, DC and Warner Brothers Studios, and a nice rat is just kind of making its way through Arkham. Kind of freaky. Going down a pipe, looks like it's being chased by a Batman. You see the shadow, and then there are all these rats just charging at you, and then boom, Batman Arkham Shadow comes up with MetaQuest 3, and they have like the huge VR system right at the end, and it says only on MetaQuest 3. I don't know how I feel about this. Okay, so instant reaction was when I saw, I was like, oh, this looks so cool. And I was kind of jacked up because I'm like, if this was for a system that I had, or even if it was for a Nintendo system, it doesn't matter. I don't have a Nintendo. Nintendo Switch, that is. But I'm not going to lie, I'd be pretty jacked up about this. For those 15 or 50 seconds that I was able to watch, kind of got me pumped up. We're getting another Arkham game, right? Pretty excited. And what are the details? Well, it kind of feels very dark. I love how, like, you can tell that there's like small little Easter eggs, which if you kind of, I did a quick YouTube search, but even if you slow down, you'll see small little things like obviously the rats, dead giveaway, rat catcher's most likely going to be probably the main villain. And then they also have a couple things that they highlight, like Falcone. There's a huge poster of Alberto Falcone. I don't know his name. That's just floating around. So is he going to be a villain in the game? Who knows? And it's the main villain is more of a C-list villain. Not many people know, but he was in Arkham Asylum, just like his little villain card when you kind of go through, and then you can kind of check who are the villains that Batman has, and Ratcatcher's one of them. But we just never saw him. We never played against them. Now we do, and it's in a brand new Arkham game. So where does this take place? Is this after Arkham Knight? Absolutely not. What it looks like is it's in between Arkham Origins and Arkham Asylum, which is something I can definitely see. I mean, I think people have been longing for almost like an Arkham Origins 2, something that took place most likely after. I was on this show talking about how much I loved Arkham Origins. Probably, it's hard to say, but it kind of changes with the win. Like today would be my favorite video game out of all the Arkhams. That said, and then here's something cool, because it's kind of a dead giveaway, was Roger Craig Smith. It looks like he's going to be the one that is going to be playing Batman or voicing Batman, which is exciting. He was the one who retweeted, but then kind of took that away and reversed what he just did. And they're probably not going to reveal that until June 7th, which is Summer Game Fest. Now, is this what people wanted? I think that's the main question. Like, people were so upset with Suicide Squad Kill the Justice League, and I think people really wanted it to work. People really wanted to like it, but they were so mad. It did not feel like an Arkham game for the life of me. I don't know why it even takes place in the Arkhamverse. I don't know who made that decision. Was it to sell games? Most likely, but they have not met expectations. And then all of a sudden, it's like, okay, we're going to release a new Arkham game, and no one has a system. Why would you do that? And what I'm reading a lot of is WB Games out of touch? Or is this like a small sample to kind of ignite the crowd and say, yes, we want this little crumb, and now we want something for our system? I do not know. I mean, this was kept secret. I'm not going to lie. The game does look pretty cool. For those 50 seconds that I watched, and I'm sure you guys have as well, and if not, do yourself a favor. Pause whatever I'm talking about. Go watch it. Come right back. The trailer looks cool. Okay. I like it. Dark. It feels like Batman. We have a new villain. But MetaQuest. So, I don't even know what MetaQuest is. I know Meta. Is that like, who owns Instagram, Facebook? So it's a VR headset. And I'm not about the whole VR thing. I feel like this is a fad. And it is eventually going to fade out. I don't know a single person that even owns this. Even PlayStation VR, I only know one person that owns that, and it's not like it's making headwaves. The one thing that they do have is like, MetaQuest is like, you know what, we'll get this IP, and this is how we'll sell our system. Pretty smart move, right? I mean, Arkham is a very successful franchise, but like WB Games, what are you doing? We have there's so many fans. You go on YouTube, people are longing for another Arkham game. And I think, that would excite everybody. And it kind of did watching this trailer, but then they were so upset. They were like, oh, okay, thanks for the little cookie crumbs that you gave us, but we can't even play this game. And I'm sure if this wasn't a game on a big time system, sure enough, I'm sure we would purchase this game. You guys would make money, right? You got a very viable actor in Roger Craig Smith, but using the Arkham game to help sell meta quests, it ain't right. This is an IP where it almost seems like WB Games like, who wants our IP? We're gonna make a little bit of money, but this will help sell your system. I don't know. We got a PlayStation 5, Xbox Series X, whatever there is. I am not even sure. I own a PlayStation 5. Why isn't there an Arkham game? Like, people have been saying, well, why isn't Arkham Origins remastered, right? Like, it's always left out of, the big three or all the Arkham games. It's always left out. And now, again, it's almost like, here you go again. And it's made by a completely different company. It's not WB Games Montreal. Let me go back here and see who it's made by. Okay, Oculus Studios, and is it Camouflage? That's what it looks like. Again, so it looks like, it's not going to be just WB Games Montreal or Rocksteady. Like, they're willing to share this with other developers. I do know that the developer who created the Iron Man VR is now creating this Batman Arkham. So, and there was high praise for the Iron Man VR. So it's in good hands, it seems like. But this Arkham franchise, man, like, talk about WB, I feel, dropping the ball on so many loyal fans that really, really just want another Arkham game. People weren't even upset that there was that Arkham VR that came out immediately after Nightfall, or Arkham Knight, because it's in the Arkhamverse. Like, it was even still within the big systems. But this, I don't know. And how long is this going to be? So what, do you expect people to go out to buy a system that is between $300 to $500 in this VR system, and then play a game that's 2 hours long, 3 hours long? It makes no sense. And it makes me wonder, and it kind of does excite me. Here's like the positive, and I know I've been pretty negative, but like, here's the exciting part, is they are still making an Arkham game. It's still within, it's still talked about. You can tell that James Gunn mentioned that this isn't the last that we're going to make Arkham games. So does he mean this game? I hope this is not the last game. I do hope that they are releasing something for one of the big systems. There are rumors that WB Games Montreal is trying to hire people for a AAA video game. Is that Superman? We don't know. I know Wonder Woman is being made currently, and there's only been like one teaser trailer, 2 years ago, and we haven't heard about it since. But I feel like there needs to be something else. There has to be an Arkham game, right? Like, and there's so much story to play with. So many villains to play with. Yes, people are probably tired of seeing Joker as the main villain within these Arkham games. And that said, you have so many other toys to play with. It's not just Joker, right? It's not just Harley Quinn, who we've constantly seen, but you got someone like Hush. You got Calendar Man. Yes, are they B-list villains? Sure. But, you still have them, and you still have a lot of story to play with, right? And, I always reflect back, and it's like Paul Dini was the guy for Arkham Asylum and Arkham City, who wrote such an incredible story. And then you even had Black Mask, where, he came out with a hit for Arkham Origins to take out Batman. So good. And then even the way Bane was portrayed, or Deathstroke was, every single one of those villains, so well done. It wasn't Copperhead. Copperhead was in Arkham Origins, and they were able to put her in. Brilliant, right? So, like, there is a lot of story. Like, we still have so much story of Batman's early years. If you wanted to incorporate a Robin, you could have Dick Grayson as Robin if you really wanted to. You can definitely explore even Batgirl's origin if you really want to, as not even a side mission, but downloadable content. You could if you really wanted to. But and then villains, like there's even Two-Face, there's Penguin. Yes, they've been in every single one of these games, including Gotham Knights, Court of Owls. I know we've just seen them, but I'm just listing off a bunch of random villains. Heck, kind of cool would be, because there was an Easter egg with Andrea Beaumont. And what if you had Phantasm in one of these games? Kind of curious. If you're listening, who would you have as, list 3 villains that you would have in the next Arkham game? Feel free to email me, beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com. Shoot me a message on Twitter /X. I don't have Instagram for this part, but yeah, feel free to comment, shoot me an email. Maybe you have questions, but there's a lot of toys to play with in this Arkhamverse that have not been touched. Bruce Wayne's early years, I mean, come on. And you have all of it, because when we get into Arkham Asylum, it almost seems like, you're right near, Batman's probably in his late 30s, early 40s. A lot has already happened. Oracle, so Batgirl or Barbara Gordon has been shot at that point. And it was kind of like that Killing Joke took place. But I still feel like there's so many villains that you can incorporate into these video games and make them the main villain. I loved that in Arkham Knight, Scarecrow was the main villain. So cool. Right? But we have a ton. Let's just quickly go through and see. I'll give you my top 3 while I'm looking through this list. Okay. At the top of my list, can't speak, would probably be Hush. I feel like you can really create a interesting story with Hush as one of Batman's main villains. Then there's also Clayface. I think he would be pretty viable as a villain as well. Does Deathstroke or Deathshot make a return? I mean, I wouldn't keep them in my top 3 either. Mad Hatter, I feel like, with Mad Hatter and even Scarecrow or Joker, I feel like they're kind of similar. So, if you're not including the Joker or Scarecrow, I would throw Mad Hatter in for sure. The Ventriloquist, even, Joe Chill, you can even probably do an interesting story with, but it'd be more of a side mission. I did mention Calendar Man. I think that would, Hush would be pretty interesting. And then why not have, the mob bosses of Salvatore Maroni and Alberto Falcone? You're incorporating the mob side of things. I feel like that would be pretty interesting. Jeremiah Arkham, I feel like that would be another interesting aspect, but would have to take place in Arkham Asylum. So would there be a mission with Jeremiah Arkham? I feel like that could be explored for sure. Copperhead was super interesting, and I would definitely include Copperhead back into the game. I think that would be something where, you can revisit. It was used really well. And then why not something like, you can do Ratcatcher can make a return by all means. I think that would be pretty, would make a lot of sense. But those are just to list a few. I mean, and then Rupert Thorne, there's another one, right? If you're going to incorporate some mob bosses, then I think Rupert Thorne for sure would have to come into play. But, and then the Phantasm and Magpie. But no, Phantasm would have to be incorporated. And I think that can lead to a much bigger story where you incorporate Andrea Beaumont. Yeah, that's pretty much it. So I think off the top of my head, top 3, Hush, Phantasm, is it Calendar Man? I don't know. Like, I didn't even mention Riddler, but Riddler's been in every single Arkham game. So, like, I'm kind of leaving him out of this. But what do you guys think? I mean, you look at the new Batman comics here, right? And, I don't want any mention of failsafe. Like, just hard no. We're looking at Batman's early years. So even the mob bosses I would even incorporate. But yeah, I think that would be a pretty interesting aspect. So by including those villains, and you know how much story that you can create just with that? Again, fans are dying for an Arkham game. And you look at the feedback, you look at the trailer, like I'm just on IGN here, and let's see how many views that they got just for this trailer. 1.6 million. That's just one aspect, right? And then on the off the side, they have other ones that have just over 1 million, right? And it's all random, like Game Rant or whatever. Like they all have different trailers here. And then there's obviously other YouTubers, but pretty interesting. They have like a little bit of a, while watching the trailer, people were able to piece together as to when this would take place. So when you're looking at Batman and his suit, it kind of looks like more Arkham Origins, especially more within the facial structure. And it looks like he has like more like defined abs. It looks like it's just more, I don't know if it's shadow or just kind of that's his new suit. It looks pretty cool, but it looks much more closer to Arkham Origins than it does Arkham Asylum. Still same bat chest logo. There's no yellow oval whatsoever, which I'm completely fine with. Don't mind it at all. And when are we getting more details? Well, Summer Game Fest. When is Summer Game Fest? June 7th. They're going to share much more details, and you can bet I'm going to cover this, as I'm a huge fan of the Arkham franchise. So am I excited? Yeah. I mean, I'd love to hear details, stories about this new game. I'm all about the Easter eggs. I feel like the Arkham franchise does it like no one else. And anyone else that tried to do it, Spider-Man, it was Batman that incorporated all those minor details. And I really do wonder if this new game will incorporate the same amount of love and detail that Rocksteady Games did, WB Games Montreal, because those game developers worked hard on that game and they you can tell that there was a huge passion for it. Now, with that said, some quick news that was just released yesterday that came to surprise was, speaking of surprises, was that we're going to be getting, finally, that new Batman cartoon, Batman the Caped Crusader, which is going to be released, if I'm not mistaken, either, when is it here? August 1st. And where are you going to find it? Well, it's going to be on Prime Video. So Max did not want it. They sold it to Amazon Prime. And there's going to be 10 episodes. All 10 episodes are going to drop on the same day. So there's going to be some serious binge watching. But yeah, go check IGN, Variety. I know Batman on Film is probably the best place you want to check. And then they released some details. And I wanted to kind of quickly talk about this maybe in a future episode, but some of the details that they released were some pictures. It looks like it takes place in the 1940s. And then the pictures, you'll see Dr. Harleen Quinzel and then Harley Quinn. So they kind of redesigned Harley Quinn. I don't mind it. Looks very different. And then it's got more of like an Asian influence. Commissioner Jim Gordon, I think that this is Clayface. I have no clue. And then you see a younger Bruce Wayne. I actually really like the redesign. The Batman. So when you see the Batman, he is going to have these small little gloves. Are they even purple? I have no idea. No. He's got no gauntlets, but it definitely takes place in the 1940s. But yeah, definitely worth checking out. And we will have a lot to talk about with this. I am looking forward to it. You know, Bruce Timm is, I think, writer, and he's also going to be, he's definitely got an influence in illustrating a lot of this. You can tell his fingerprints are all over it. So I'm looking forward to it. As Batman the Animated Series, hands down my favorite Batman cartoon of all time, probably my favorite cartoon of all time. And then there's Ninja Turtles. But with that said, I think that brings a conclusion to the show. If you have any questions or comments, feel free to shoot me an email at beyondthebatsignal@gmail.com. Please like and subscribe and rate and review the show. You can do that through Apple Podcast. And feel free to shoot me a comment. Looking forward to it. I am very curious to hear who everyone's top 3 villains you'd like to see in the next Arkham game. I'm stoked about this. I am. Like, in all honesty, I'm cheesed because why are you doing VR? Again, I'm not going to try to reiterate this. Just it kind of puzzles me. I don't get it. It just seems like people are like, yeah, listen, we want to promote our system. We want to get it out there. We want an Arkham game. This is going to help sell. And damn it. Like, as an Arkham fan, frustrated. How do you feel? I'd feel frustrated. But maybe it's like a different perspective. I have no clue. And then there's the Caped Crusader that's coming out. Jacks me up. It's going to be this year. And then we got the Penguin. So this is an exciting year. Yes, the Batman got delayed to 2026. But we got some more Batman content coming around the corner. Now, I hope you enjoyed this episode of Beyond the Bat Signal. Join me next time as we continue our exploration into the world of our favorite hero, Batman. And remember, the adventure doesn't end here. Stay vigilant and keep your eyes peeled for that signal in the sky. Until next time, this is Beyond the Bat Signal, signing off.